Hey everyone, I wanted to give you a little tour of our spring decor. We have a small home, but I enjoy decorating every little nook and cranny, and my style has changed a lot over the last 5 years. So I wanted to take you along and show you the changes we've made for lightening things up now that winter is over. Here in Florida, I say that facetiously, but I hope you'll enjoy the tour. And if you stick around towards the end, I'll show you a DIY that I did to age some thrift shopped vases into aged vessels, which is all the rage and uber expensive at Hobby Lobby, etc. these days. This is the little nook of our entryway, and I've switched out the stocking, etc. for, more springish decor. And I'm thinking of painting these bookcases gray as well as the TV stand. But of course, we're moving this summer, so I'm not sure if I want to put the time in on that because I've had these bookcases for over 20 years. They weren't really high end to start with, rooms to go. And I may not even take them with me, but I'm thinking about it. So here's one of the first aged vessels, and I'm so happy with the way this little area turned out. I treat it like a console table. Obviously, it's a window nook, and this is one of the vases that I converted over the weekend, and I'm so happy with the way it turned out. I got that bunny at Hobby Lobby on half price and that little bell for 99 cents. I also picked up this print at Hobby Lobby for half price over the weekend. I think I'm going to switch out that easel for a wooden one or paint that one, but either way, I love the way the vibe is, the neutrals and sort of a higher end decor. And of course, I'm doing the grays and beiges and browns. I'm really into the neutral decors, trying to keep things a lot simpler than I used to. So this little footstool, if you watched a prior video, I picked that up, a curbside freebie. So blessed to get that. And I'm definitely enjoying an easier vibe. When your kids are little, you tend to go all out for the holidays, decorate with a lot of color, and that's a lot of work switching things out constantly. So I'm trying to get away from that. And I'm also trying to get away from holiday themed decor, but I'm still a sucker for the bunnies and the pumpkins in the fall, although I'm trying to do it more tastefully these days. And the little teepee is for the cats. I DIY'd that frame that's on the wall there behind the stay a while sign that I picked up at Aldi right after we moved in a couple of years ago. And I copycatted that off of a Kirkland's frame. Love it. Not tired of it yet. There's something about these grass-covered bunnies that just, I gotta have them. And then I picked up some Dollar Tree plastic eggs last year and, going for the neutral look, just hand painted those. It's so funny how they look like real eggs, right? And this little bunny, I got several bunnies right after the 2020 lockdowns let up in May of 2020 at like next to nothing. And I mean, literally like 85% off. And I picked up this lamp base at a Goodwill over the weekend for $5, you guys. It was a dark cherry, and I just, covered it with some gray paint and then sort of dry brushed it with some white paint and used a lampshade from another lamp that I'd had for years. And I'm really into this sort of frondy greenery right now. Jenna Pierce, love her channel. You guys have to check her out. She's really influenced my style lately when it comes to the greenery and going for a more natural decor. I got this artwork last fall at a Hobby Lobby. Still loving that. Of course, half price, because if it's not a deal, I'm not buying it. Got the eucalyptus and the vase at Aldi a few months ago. I picked up this book at the Thrifty for 25 cents, and it's kind of hard to tell on screen, but what I liked about it is it's pretty thick, a couple of inches, and it has that linen cloth cover on it. And then this vase or vessel I DIY'd, you'll see later if you stick around. And that bunny is another one that I got for next to nothing at Home Goods a couple years ago. I switch out the words in that little picture frame down there every season. Just keep the prior season in there, keep it easy, right? I don't have much spring decor in the kitchen, but I wanted to show you a couple of things out here that have really been giving me joy this week. First, I had this little vignette up here above the kitchen sink that I put together right after we moved in. And I just switch out the bunny for a pumpkin or whatever during the seasons. But there's just something about it. It's just so easy and so perfect in my eyes. I love that. And I recently got those soap dispensers at Home Goods. And then this corner of the kitchen, I had a bread box here. If I could figure out how to put it up, I'll put a before for you guys to see. And this weekend I decided, there's no reason to keep that around. I never kept bread in it. All I kept in it was cat treats and pins. I picked up this little eucalyptus floral arrangement at Walmart over the weekend. And I got these canisters at the Goodwill, the same place that I got the lamp right next to them. I got that lamp for $2 at the Goodwill, and the canisters for $7 total. Got cat treats in the big one and pins in the little one. So yeah, I've really been having fun switching things up without spending a lot of money. Not only do I want to save money, but if we're moving, I'm not trying to pile on a bunch of stuff, right? So here's another vase that I DIY'd. I did one light one and one dark one, as you can tell. And this vase, I love this thing. Doesn't that look amazing? Wait until you see the before of those vases. You'll be amazed. And I had that marble turntable for years. My son gave me a gift card and I snapped that up at TJ Maxx or whatever and really hadn't been using it and decided it'd be perfect under that vase there on the table. So yeah, I'm real happy with the way that turned out. But my favorite thing, I think, is the switch up on the way I'm doing the greenery. I'm into this sort of floaty, looks like it has movement, really natural looking, even though it's artificial. That's just giving me all kinds of joy. And then just real quick, I wanted to show you these gorgeous dispensers the girls picked up. I don't know where. I know they got them just a couple of days ago, but aren't those beautiful? Love those things. I forgot to ask them today when they got home where they got them. I didn't even know they'd bought them. I happened to go in there and saw them, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love those. So yeah, we got this at Burlington a couple of years ago, and I just like the vibe. So I'll give you a close-up now of the items on the bookshelf, just in case you're curious. And if you're interested, please comment down below. I have a few tips that I followed to switch up how I decorate my bookcases so they have a more styled effect, if you will. and it really made a difference without spending any money. And I had never really thought about it until a few years ago. I happened to watch, I'm sorry, I don't remember whose YouTube channel because it was 4 or 5 years ago. And I said to myself, you know, I love that. What is it I love about the way she styled those bookshelves? And when I got to looking and really thought it over, that's when I came up with the few pointers that I gave myself and I follow now because I just like things to look cohesive and, you know, fun, interesting on my little budget without looking like I'm trying too hard, hopefully. So yeah, that's kind of how I approach it. And now I'll give you a tour of the bedroom. I've lightened things up in here, and you know, I only have one window, so it's a little dark on film, but it doesn't seem that dark in person. And the bedding, I already had a quilted lightweight comforter. And I've had this bunny, I call him Zinny because he looks like he's doing yoga for years. And then I had bought these little metal envelopes. Don't know if you can tell they're metal on screen at Burlington a couple of years ago. And a year or two ago, I got this pillow along with the runner you saw earlier in the dining room at Home Goods. And this little tray, I just put a placemat in the bottom, kind of switch it out for the holidays. There's Cozy Teddy. And this is one of my few new purchases. This is sort of a gauzy meets quilted throw blanket that's 50 by 70 that I got at Home Goods after watching Jenna Pierce's channel. And I don't know if you caught that, but it's double-sided. You can go tan or you can go gray with it. And it was $30 at Home Goods. I just bought it last week. So if you're interested in that, get out there and get it because those things are going quick. They're all the rage right now for the lighter seasons. I recovered this bench, which I got as a free curbside pickup years ago. It was tan and awful. And I was kind of going for a beachy, you know, driftwood look, but it got a little dark with it, but I still like it. And I recovered the bench itself. So, you know, okay, so here's my little DIY. Here are the two vases. I got the one on the left for $10 at Goodwill and the one on the right at a mustard seed thrifty for $8. And not to judge, but I don't think the Asian multicolored look is in anymore. And this vessel I got at Goodwill also for $10, which again, thrift shops are so overpriced these days. 5 or 6 years ago, that would have been $2, right? But that thing is a heavy clay. And I got this Kleenex box. It's ceramic at Hobby Lobby 2-3 years ago when I was really big into the black and white check. But now I only do that very sparingly at Christmas time. So I'm going to paint that up as well. You know, if you're going to get all the paints out, might as well do all the little projects at once, right? So here I am outside. I'm going to start with a spray paint. The darker vessel, I'm starting with black, and everything else is getting a spray paint of white because that just keeps the work down, you know, when you start in laying down the texture. That way you don't have all these odd colors peeking through. And, you know, it was a beautiful day for this project, so now I'm inside. And, you know, here we are with the base coat of white. And the thing is with these two floral Asian vessels, they actually have quite a bit of texture to them in the sense of sort of an outline around the flowers and whatnot. You can't quite tell there, but that's definitely noticeable in person. So I'm going to mix some spackle with some acrylic paint. I got this idea from Jenna Pierce. Again, I'll put a link down below for her. She used some kind of fancy brand mud in sort of the same goldish brown color. And I just made my own with the spackle and some acrylic paint I already had on hand for who knows how long. Because I'm not trying to spend a lot of money here. I just, I'm going to be moving. And yet I wanted to upgrade my decor, right? So if you're going to go on doing a project like that, you might as well do it on a budget so you can get better living and feel good about it and enjoy yourself in the meantime. So here I am with some rubber gloves on, applying this spackle that I've added the paint to, and I'm just patting it around, all around. There's no real rhyme or reason to this other than I'm trying to put a good enough coat on there to cover up those very noticeable indentions around the floral pattern on these jars. And also, you want that aged sort of textured look that all these vessels have as well. But because the vases have that indented pattern, if you will, I went a little thicker than what Jenna probably did when she was doing her DIY on her channel. And I will say, I had some regrets for using this sort of toffee colored paint in the spackle when I got to this stage in the project, because they came off looking pretty terracotta-y, especially this stand vessel, if you will. Because, that's kind of the color it started out as. Of course, I was trying to cover that applique of the fruit in the middle, but the white spray paint handled that job. And it's so funny when you go through the stages in doing these aged vessels. I'm guaranteeing you, if you give this a whirl, you will be sitting there at the earlier stages thinking, I don't know. I just don't know about this. But the trick is just keep going. Keep adding colors. And here, earlier I showed you the tall bunny and the little bunny beside it that were on my sideboard in the dining room. Well, this bunny, when I bought it, it was sort of a flat gunmetal gray and just didn't quite blend with his big mama. Plus, he sort of kind of made him have beady eyes because of the flat gray. So I decided, well, let me just go at this guy. And right here, I'm dabbing it with black acrylic paint, just kind of splotching it all over. And I'm going to let that dry. And now I am dabbing it with some silver paint that, again, it's just an acrylic that I've had on hand for who knows how many years. Just dabbing and dabbing, no real rhyme or reason to it. Just kind of trying to, a little bit of black and a little bit of gray showing through here or there to sort of give it a textured look like his big mama has. And when I bought the larger rabbit, it was already, done like that. So just trying to get him to kind of blend in. And I thought after I got it all finished and it dried, it looks great. I think they blend very well together. I'm very happy with it. So now here I am going over my vases with black paint on the one that I want to be darker, which is silly, right? Because it started out black spray paint, right? But I had to get that spackle on there to give it the texture and hide those lines from the pattern. And I am just sort of dabbing and rubbing, kind of a combination of pit-pat, rib-rab-rub, here and there, And I know from watching other YouTube channels doing their aged vessel DIYs that everybody kind of goes at it a little different, but Jenna recommends using a dampened paper towel and then just lightly blotting it into the paint like on a paper plate. And that worked really well. I would say if you used a dry paper towel, you might get too dense of a color. So I highly recommend that. And now here I am dry brushing, just sort of pit-patting around with lighter paint colors, a little beige, a little light gray, even a little pale brown to kind of give it a little dirty effect over the gray and the black. And here's the way the light vessel turned out. I am so happy with both of them. Just so tickled. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.